Hello and welcome back to another functions exercise. Today we're going to be doing the exercise called Almost There. And this question is asking us to, given an integer n, return true if n is within 10 of either 100 or 200. So what that means is essentially return true if n is anywhere between 90 and 110 for 100, or 190 and 210. And the note is telling us to use abs num, which returns the absolute value of a number. However, there is an easier way to do this exercise, which I will show you how to do after this. So make sure you stay tuned and watch until the end to see both solutions so you can understand this question better. So let's get started. First, we need to define our variable, and we'll call it almost there, as the name of the exercise suggests. And for our argument, we'll input num. Don't forget that colon, so you get that indent in Python. And what we need to do is return the input, and we'll use the abs function straight away and say within abs, where num minus 100, the reason we're doing num minus 100 is because whatever integer you input, where integer is num, it's going to minus that from 100. So let's say you put 120, it's going to minus 100, that will give you 20. And now we're going to say if that is equal to or less than 10, then that would mean that that number that you inputted is within 10 of 100. So let's say the question was saying return true if n is within 50, then we would do number minus 50, because you inputted 55, for example, you minus that from 50 and you would get 5. So because 5 is less than 10, that would return true and follow what the question is asking. So that is true for 100, and the question is asking return true if n is within 10 of either 100 or 200. So now we've completed 100. Now we need to make sure we write down the same code for 200. So it'll be the exact same. However, the only difference is, make sure we don't forget to change that to 100 to fit the question. This time we'll use num minus 200, and the same thing applies. Make sure it's within 10, then it's following the question, and that's pretty much it. That's the code. And now if we test that, for example, we can use the examples that it's giving us. So almost there for 90. Input that here, and this should return us true. So let's see if it will give us true. And it does, because what the code is doing is it's saying that the number you've inputted is 90. So it will do 90 minus 100, which is minus 10. And because it's minus 10, the absolute function makes minus 10 the absolute value of that number. So then absolute makes minus 10 into just 10, and because that's equal to 10, then it will return true. Okay, so let's do the same thing. The second example, 104, this should return us true as well, and it does. We can do the next example, is asking us for 150. The reason this is false is because 150 minus 100 will give us 50, and this is not less than 10. Okay, so next, the final example it's giving us to test out here is 209, and this is true as well. So that's because 209 minus 200 will be 9, which is also less than 10. Okay, now there's an easier way to do this without using absolute value of a number, and I'm going to show you that right now. So we'll use the same function name, same argument, but this time we're going to return the num, and this is very specific to the question. So because it's asking us to return true if n is within 10 of either 100 or 200, we're only going to be inputting the code for 100 or 200. So first we need to do 100, and 10 within 100 is simply anywhere between 90 and 110. And for 200, it would be 190 num and 210. And this would return you the same thing. And anything outside of the statement would be false. So that's why it works as well. And we'll test this out as well. So with the same examples, 90 is true as well. 104. And we don't really need to write this code again. We can just change the input here. We'll do 150. That will be false as well. And 209 should be true. And there you go. That's the code. Two different ways of doing it. If you wanted, you could expand this code here. So we would use an if statement. So what we're going to say is if 90 is less than or equal to num, but number is also less than or equal to 110, then we would return true. Else, because there's only two arguments here, you would return false. And we need to make sure that this is also accounting for within 200 as well. So we're going to put the same thing here. And this would work as well. True, true. Let's change this just to see if it's correct. 150, that would be false as well. All right, so that's three different ways of solving this question, almost there. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. And make sure to like the video and subscribe. And yeah, thanks.